My name is James Fowler, and I'm a Toronto artist, and this is my puppy, Winnie. I think Toronto has a really healthy group of interrupters, so we'll call them people that queer the arts. And I think that internationally, particularly in international art markets, I think there needs to be more queering, which the art market doesn't want, right? They wanted, like, we just wanted to keep it going, you know. Things that I think is interesting is, you know, I've often talked about why I like queer art. You know, not necessarily as a, people can try and define what queer is. And one of the things that I really like about queers in the arts is that they ameliorate the arts. So they make them better by creating a disruption. So you have a way of doing things, and I think that people can, it's like an artist who is successful in a commercial gallery. It's really great to market them because they're just spinning out the same stuff over and over and over again. And that makes them marketable, it makes people understand it, they know what their work is about. And then you have people that are a little more of an anomaly, where they'll do something one way and then they change, and it's a little bit harder to put your hand on it. I mean, maybe they work thematically, but they work with different materials. There's a different way of executing something. When I talk about queer artists, they're often the people that are out there, and there's this sort of the mainstream that's going along and doing something in a certain way, and they say no, and they interrupt it. What I did with Cyrus Marcus Ware, it was with help from Christian Wong Tam's office, and we worked with the Church Wellesley BIA. We found 11 buildings, and we did a call for submissions, and the final 11 muralists had an opportunity to meet sort of the elders of the community and talk about the history and heroes of the community and the beginning of the LGBTQ civil rights movement in Toronto, and their take or their approach on it. And so each mural kind of is some sort of faction of the community, either at a particular time period, or it could be different ethnic communities or things like that. During Pride, there wasn't a lot by way of visual art programming, particularly in the institutions. So, I mean, the RIC wasn't around then, but certainly the AGO and the power plant and these larger institutions, there was an opportunity for you to get your gay group to go on a tour of the various spaces or venues, but there wasn't anything that represented queer culture. So it's nice that you can go to a place like the AGO, but looking at the collection that they have, it would have been nice to have pulled pieces that maybe addressed queerness or had queer artists in those spaces. And I wasn't seeing that happen. I think what's interesting in Toronto is, and I think with pretty much any city in probably sort of the art world or the art market, is you have people who are like bleeding edge. They're real mavericks, and but they're bleeding edge because they put their blood and their sweat into something, and they make something happen, and they figure out how to do something. And then you have like the leading edge, which it actually isn't the bleeding edge. Leading edge is the bleeding edge, but then with financial backing. So then all of a sudden it becomes like something that gets sort of factory out, and then all of a sudden it turns into design. And I've always been a little bit, I mean, don't get me wrong, I love design, but design can sometimes eat fine art, right? So you have like things that are like, you're looking at this piece of art and it's all design work that has become art. And I think that art and design have been collapsed, and I'd like to sort of uncollapse the two a little bit. And I think that's something I would like to see happen, or perhaps a movement towards that.